Hello there, and welcome to coverage of Grand Prix Providence. Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Brian David Marshall. Round 12 is upon us, BDM, and we're just about ready to kick things off with one Willie Adel of Brazil.
Yeah, we're in the Deadpool portion of our tournament.
What does that mean?
Well, just like anytime someone takes a loss here, they're pretty much
They're out.
They're done.
Yeah, we're not thinking an X3 is going to be able to make it. There was just under 1,100 players, about 1,075 or so here. But X3 is still a tall stretch. It's not a small tournament. Steve Rubin, of course, is his opponent. You can see Steve, number 23 on the top 25 pro rankings, and he's a platinum player. Like, Steve Rubin could be here to stay.
Yeah, he's had terrific finishes, GPs, terrific finishes. The Pro Tour has been a really huge deck builder on the Pro Tour, building multiple Pro Tour top 8 decks this year.
Yeah.
See a messy Thoughtseize.
What a pile. So there's a Den Protector, which looks to be the card that's going to get.
Yeah, just take
taken
one of my
away
cards.
here.
I don't care.
Yeah. It's that, a Death Mist Raptor, or a Roast.
Main deck roast.
Yeah, main deck Roast. That's interesting. Red-Green Dragons from Steve Rubin. Curious to see how this plays out against a little more ambitious build from Adel here. It looks like it's 4-color Sidisi Whip.
Yeah, we saw Willie playing this deck a little bit yesterday. This is basically a variant on what he's played at every stage and standard along the way this year. But he was pretty high on this deck on Twitter yesterday. He said, basically, I got 2 losses yesterday, but those were on me. Those weren't on the deck.
Those didn't count. Opulent Palace goes into hand and then immediately onto the battlefield.
Right, you don't get to use those for tiebreakers. Like, yes, George, I know I have 3 losses, but 2 of them were my fault. So I should be alive for top 8. In comes Death Mist Raptor.
And Rubin's going to pass a turn back to Adel here.
Yeah, Rubin's sitting on a Storm Breath Dragon that he drew.
Okay, he can play that next turn.
Here's Sidisi.
All right, let the grind begin. Now, a whip hits the graveyard here.
Oh, look at the Torrent Elemental.
An Elemental, too. This could get interesting. He does hit another Sidisi, though, which is going to garner him the zombie friend. He's going to go ahead and attack with his Satyr Wayfinder, get in there for just 1 point of damage. And pass the turn back to Rubin, who, if he has an untapped land, and he does, he can play that Storm Breath and start really crunching in for a bunch of damage. The shields, they are down for Willie. That looks like a different plan here. He's going to roast Sidisi here. That still keeps the attacks flowing from Rubin. That means that Sidisi doesn't get to attack next turn, potentially garnering another zombie and generating more advantage by putting more cards in the graveyard as well. So first priority for Steve Rubin, get rid of Sidisi. He does that. And of course, recruit fix for Willie Adel. So the grind is real here. He even finds the land. Llanowar waste off the top, and Den Protector too.
Which could mean a whip is coming
absolutely
pretty soon. Oh, Torrent Elemental. Torrent Elemental whip of Erebos is kind of sweet.
What happens?
Well, you whip your Torrent Elemental into play.
I like that part.
Then it gets exiled.
Well, you get to attack.
You get to attack. And then it gets exiled.
Okay, and then it's just sitting over there waiting
to be cast.
Enjoy that. Yeah, that is enjoyable. This is sweet. He gets to use his graveyard as a resource, and even his exiles.
He gets he's gone deeper.
Yes.
Yes, he's dug into the underworld.
Yeah, this is cool. Now, Willie, though, is going to be under significant pressure here from Steve. And it looks like if Willie can buy himself enough time, he's got the tools. The Den Protector can get back the whip. The whip can start whipping back Sidisis and Torrent Elementals. Torrent Elemental can get cast from exile. It looks like he's got the tools to make this game go in his favor. The question is just if he's going to have the time to do it.
Right. The the bane of all the cool plays in the history of Magic is someone might be attacking you
That's right.
while you set something up 3 turns from now.
I think Steve might be starting off with a Thunderbreak Regent. Yeah, he's going to do that. So first he's going to attack with his Deathmist Raptor. Interesting for Willie to decide if he wants to start chump blocking. He does. It also gets the Wayfinder in the yard as a potential whip target down the line, which he can be quite good at. And he's going to play the Thunderbreak Regent as Steve, which is going to set up for the next turn, Stormbreath Dragon. So looks like some deck lists have arrived too for us to browse.
Willie's got not a lot of 4s in his deck. lots of 2s and 3s, a few 1s.
Yeah.
Whereas Steve Rubin's deck list is tightly clustered in 4s.
Mm. So it looks like the 4 color, if you're wondering, is Dragonlord Atarka ×2, which is a fantastic Whip of Erebos target, of course.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so Willie's going to play a morph. We'll get an overlay on that so that the board stays nice and clear. And I don't think we're going to need it for long, though, because he's going to flip that thing up on end step here. All right.
Here comes Stormbreath Dragon.
What time is it? Stormbreath o'clock. So 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 damage coming across to the red zone here against Willie Adel, who really just needs a little bit of time to get that Whip of Erebos going. That's what he's going for here. But in the meantime, it looks like he's going to take a whole heck of a lot of damage here. He's definitely going to consider blocking the Deathmist Raptor here just to keep his life total alive. He can chump block. He can double block.
Or you can block with Deathmist, with Den Protector.
Yep. Not an unreasonable choice. He's really trying to decide, because, you know, the way this will work out is if he gets to attack with a whole bunch of creatures, including that Den Protector after he plays the whip, he could be good to go. All right, I'm assuming he's going to grab the whip here.
Yep.
Yeah, there it is. He is blocking, though. Yeah, he's put 5 +1/+1 counters on, which is a little ambitious.
It's like some new creature mechanic. You roll a die, and that's how many counters you put on the creature.
I like that. You're going to have to come up with a name for that one, BDM. All right, so Willie down to 5 here. He's got 4 power on
draws
board.
A whip.
Yeah, it's not. He didn't draw it. He didn't try it.
Oh, it's
still
true. It's a
there.
turn away.
He might be able to get rid of it still. But he does have a clean attack where he can gain 4 life back here, putting him back up to 9 and then taking 8 in the air, but then dying to
dying
one
to
of
an
the
elf.
2 elves. Yeah, so this isn't going to work out for Willie. Is it too late? Remember, he can't target either the Stormbreath or the Thunderbreak without taking an additional 3, leaving him dead to just the other dragon. Yeah, it feels like Willie really needs a sweeper here. He needs to Crux of Fate or something if he's going to do it, and he's not playing it, so.
He doesn't. Yeah, he's just.
That's it. He just doesn't have enough punch left over. And, you know, the question that we asked earlier was, does he have enough time to get that whip online? And it turns out, nope.
Yeah.
Sure didn't. Steve Rubin sort of assembled the combo there, and that was all she wrote. So
the combo elves and dragons.
Well, I was thinking the combo of having the 2 big threats in the air, one of them being Thunderbreak Regent, so that even killing one of them resulted in life loss. But yes, the more potent combo was a lot of mana and some threats. It just ended up being faster than Willie. I mean, Willie had a couple of cards in hand and whip to really get things going, but it was just too late.
See a couple of Grand Prix champions there in the background playing.
Yeah.
Alexander Hayne and Brian.
Like they're enjoying each other's company as well.
They're shuffling up for their game too as well, so we don't have any live Magic to show you at the moment.
We just get to hang out.
But
why don't we take a look? Yeah, go ahead.
Take a look at the players to watch. You see Josh McClain, your only undefeated player. Couple players here with.
That guy can play, by the way.
What's that? Yeah.
Josh?
Yeah, Josh is a real
I'm
deal.
starting to get used to seeing his name as, you know, the only undefeated or X1 or whatever, getting deep into a GP.
Couple notable 10-1s, Brian Braunduin and Mike Sigrist. We're getting really clustered up here, though, because you see Alexander Hayne paired up against Brian Brundu in this turn. He's got 2 losses, so he's in the dead pool. He's swimming in the dead pool there. Dickman, Menard, Willie Adel, Shahar Shenhar, and Owen Turtenwald all still alive with 2 losses.
Interesting to see Pascal Menard and Alexander Hayne as well as the same record coming in.
Yeah.
And they're in a bit of a fight.
Well, I mean, Pascal was 2 matches behind him at one point, so Pascal has picked up the pace.
Interesting.
Or
Brian Bronduin,
Alexander Hayne has stumbled, one or the other.
Yeah, maybe both. Brian Bronduin did win the first game over there against Alex, by the way.
Alexander Hayne these guys have perfected the art of talking, keeping their eyes up while they shuffle. It's kind of an unnatural looking pose.
Yeah.
But that's part of it. Is like you really, when you're shuffling your deck or shuffling your opponent's deck, you really want to just be looking above the plane of the cards. You don't want to ever be, seen kind of just like staring at your opponent's hands while they shuffle, because you might get information, and that's perceived as can be perceived as naughty.
Oh, that's bad. Yeah, you don't want to get that information.
Those guys looks like Hayne and Bronduin are underway, so maybe we can check in on them while these guys still have some shuffling to do. Just get a look at what's going on over there. I know that Brian Bronduin's playing Abzan Aggro, and then Alexander Hayne's playing Abzan Megamore.
Yeah, you'd think that would benefit Alex, but it certainly didn't in the first game.
So Bile Blight takes out a Rakshasa Death Dealer.
And another one replaces it immediately. And here's a Courser of Crewfix to start playing some defense.
I believe he's called Of Courser of Crewfix now.
Well, whenever they hit a land, that's what you call it.
Yeah, Of Courser of Crewfix.
All right, but this is, of course, the benefit to a Rakshasa Death Dealer is it gets to attack right past it. Both of these players at 10 and 1. So maybe our graphic wasn't quite right. Didn't it say 27 for Alex?
It did. It must not.
Looks like he's at 30.
It must not have been updated.
Okay. Well, that changes things a little bit. All right, we've got a new updated one apparently.
Wow. Sounds like someone wasn't watching the players to watch.
We will revisit that graphic
Yeah.
with accurate updates in a little bit.
I blame Rashad.
It's probably his fault.
So
He just gets fed this stuff. He can't.
another Rakshasa Death Dealer gets meets a fate appropriate to its name.
It dealt death the wrong direction this
Yeah.
time? Yeah. All right. Those things are hard to kill, but you wouldn't know this game. There's 2 of them in the yard already.
Yeah, Bile Blight and Hero's Downfall.
A properly timed Hero's Downfall.
Ultimate Price took down a Courser
Yeah.
Crewfix. Oh, Tassiger.
The Banana Man has arrived. And he's looking to brick wall the attacks from Brian Bronduin's Abzan aggro deck, and he's going to probably do a pretty good job of it.
Okay, Siege Rhino it is.
BBD's going to play a Siege Rhino. He's got an Abzan Charm in his hand, but he says, you know what, that's okay. You can untap with the Tassiger this time. The trample ability from the Siege Rhino certainly coming into play. If Alex decides to block first, also he can Abzan Charm up his Siege Rhino, though that's a little bit riskier.
Okay, we're going to go back to our main match. It looks like the players are ready while Tassiger goes a dig in there. And early game for Willie Adel looking good. Sylvan Carey added into 2 Satyr Wayfinders.
Yeah, that graveyard looks pretty full already.
Yeah.
Still not seeing a whip here, though, from Willie. He's got the mana for it.
Of course, the whip deck does only play 2 whips.
Is that right?
Yeah. But, I mean, again, you have things like Den Protector. Yeah, Den Protector is such a natural to me in the Sidisi whip deck.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where it lets you just, you know, you have this vast graveyard, and then suddenly you have all these, you know, cards and single silver bullets that you can essentially tutor for with Den Protector.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a Whip of Erebos.
Oh, all right. Yeah, he's just going to pass the turn back with his now life-linking Wayfinder. Den Protector off the top for Ruben. He's going to go to combat and attack with both creatures. Yeah, it looks like Willie didn't block at all. And there's a Thunderbreak Regent as a follow-up play. So Steve Rubin gets in there for some damage. And even follows up with a nice little dragon here. So see what Willie can do about it.
Yeah, this deck is definitely just like a big rock you bludgeon your opponent with.
The dragon
The
deck?
dragon's deck, yeah. It's like, we're not doing anything too cute.
No. No, the cute is not the name of the game here. This deck is just brutal. He's got a Draconic Roar
It's
in
like
his hand.
I can return some things if I have to.
Yeah.
I can deign to look to my graveyard for some answers, but really I'm gonna dragon you.
Yeah, Steve's got 2 Den Protectors in hand in case things go awry with the plan A with the dragons. And there it is, Dragon Lord Atarka from Willie Adel. And he's going to take out the Thunderbreak Regent and the Goblin token. He's also going to gain a ton of life
Gain
this
a
turn.
ton of life off
Wow,
of that.
there's 9. It's also going to drop Ruben down to 10. What a huge play. You can see why Willie stretched the mana base a little bit to include this Atarka.
Yeah, get
What
in
a
for
huge
8.
play. Wow,
Yeah.
that's nasty. Is Willie down to 7? He did take 3 from targeting the Thunderbreak region, but
Yeah, but he also gained life from
He
Dragon
should
Lord
have gained-
Atarka's ability.
should have gained 9. Yeah, from the ability plus, so that's 14 he should have gained?
Yeah. I don't believe that life total graphic is correct.
Yeah, that, and there's no, you can't miss that either. It's just, maybe we can have our graphics guy check on that.
All right, here's a goblin. Yeah, 27
Okay.
is a more accurate reflection of the
Seems a little
state
more
of things for Willie Adel.
All right, Death Mist Raptor follow-up. But Willie's just doing bigger, more powerful things at this point.
Okay. Taps 4 mana. Plays Sidisi. Gets a zombie.
He's just going to pass the turn back
Yeah.
here.
Is that a murderous cut in his graveyard that he can
There is a murderous cut in his yard.
Den Protector back if he needs to?
Is he gonna need to? Does he have a Den Protector in his hand?
Oh yeah. Well,
The hard part.
question.
Yeah. I see a Crater's Claws in hand for Steve Rubin. Normally that would be a nice way to finish a game, but Willie just threatens to gain so much life, you know, after he gets that whip down that he's probably going to have to use that just to take out a creature.
Some interesting cards in the sideboard for Steve Rubin, by the way.
Oh, this is just ugly. Yeah, look, Rubin actually is forced to just attack with his Rabble Master here, because otherwise he's sending 2 goblins in to get blocked and gain Willie, 5 life or whatever. Instead, Willie's just going to block everything. Draconic Roar is going to take out Sidisi, revealing a dragon. That's going to keep a goblin alive, but the Rabble Master is still going to die. And Willie's still going to gain 3 life on the exchange. So it should keep him at the same life total after the roar.
He plays a Den Protector. Yeah, there is a Back to Nature in Steve Rubin's sideboard that I guess is kind of what he's looking for at this point.
Yeah. Oh, a nice one here for Willie Adel, though. He Heroes Downfalls the Den Protector while the shields are down for Steve. He can't flip it up and get value, so you can't ask for much more than that if you're on Willie Adel's side.
Get to whip back a Sidisi here now if you're Willie.
Ooh.
Oh boy, a Hornet Queen and a Dragon Lord.
Jeez. And more triggers. So Willie is just fully going off here. He finally misses. But again, the 3 damage incoming from Sidisi Brood Tyrant. Remember, Steve Rubin's life total's falling pretty quickly here, too. He's down to 9. He's actually thinking about just blocking here with the Deathmiss Raptor. Is that thing's not going to be able to get in for meaningful damage anyway. He's going to get it back next turn after off the Den Protector anyway.
Yeah, and Willie goes up to 27.
Stormbreath Dragon. Protection from the only color that Willie's not playing. Yeah, this deck is really firing on all cylinders. We saw game 1, it just looked 1 turn too slow, but here it's way ahead.
when you play 2 Satyr Wayfinders on turn 3, the deck performs a lot better.
Then you're cooking. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a scoop for Steve Rubin.
Wow. Willie Adel evens things up. Rubin had a perfectly reasonable draw that game, but it just didn't look powerful enough compared to what Willie was doing.
Okay, now with updated results, Josh McClain.
Things look a little worse for Pascal.
Yes.
From going to tied up, which is what we thought,
yes,
to 30 to 21. Pascal may be in canceling some flights mode here pretty soon. I mean, look, the deal is if Alex top 8's here, he can open up a gap bigger than 1 top 8 worth.
Yes.
Meaning that Pascal would have to potentially top 8 2 GPs out of the next 4 or whatever. And that is a very tall order, even for a good player like Pascal to assume he can do that. And that's also with Alex doing nothing. Which
he's not doing.
Typically does something at GPs anyway. So,
and just take a minute just to appreciate Alexander Haynes' season. This is just ridiculous.
He's insane.
He is. What number top 8 would this be if he makes it? Yeah, this would be his 4th top 8 this season. I mean, not quite.
I mean, he won
not quite
3
Huey
GPs
Jensen
last
level.
season. Yeah, no, but still, really impressive.
Yes.
Yeah, Alex has certainly earned that spot near the top players. He's 21st in the world. And look at that smile. Insane Haynes just going ham back there. I do like to see that these 2 guys are having a good time with it, though. BBD and Alex seem to be having a really fun time playing against each other.
I mean, you never see either of those players really grousing too much about getting the chance to play Magic.
True.
They always seem to be really enjoying it, enjoying the fans that they have, as well as the experience of playing and getting to travel around the world, seeing their friends. And
yeah, they're both very likable people too, which doesn't hurt.
Oh, I can't stand either of them.
Oh, you don't? Yeah,
I hate
just
them.
personally
hate them. two of my favorite people.
I think they probably just heard you. They're laughing at you now because they know you're kidding, of course.
The Grinchiest.
A little more serious on our main match here between Steve Rubin and Willie. They're a little more businesslike.
Steve Rubin's all business.
He's all business?
He's all business.
Is that a Pirate shirt he's wearing?
Yeah, it is. He's from Pittsburgh. So
Aaron Forsythe.
it's not like he's a It's not like he's a bandwagon jumper.
What, are they good now or something?
They're pretty good. Got some pretty good pitchers, some pretty good young hitters. Andrew McCutcheon's one of the most exciting players in the game.
See, Willie's got his Brazil-themed T-shirt on there. That's his bizarre de Bagda. That's his store. He owns a store in Brazil. All right, well, let's jump over here while those guys finish shuffling up here and take a look at BBD versus Alex Hayne.
There's Wardner, the first tree, the card that really makes the aggro deck.
It's one of them.
Pretty clearly different than the other Obzon decks.
Yeah, if you see a Warden, you know where they're at. Just pecks in there for 1 damage with the Warden this time, though.
That's because he's going to play a Death Dealer.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, threatening to attack for 5 next turn. Already putting the pressure on Alex Hayne to come up with something here. And, yeah, all Alex has is the Satyr Wayfinder. Gets a couple of lands. He'll have his choice.
I want a Satyr Mulch Finder. Get all the lands.
You get all of them?
You get all of them.
Yeah, we might need to drop that down to an 0-1.
Done.
In this case, it's 0-0. We'll call it Satyr Mulch Finder. It's just mulch.
All right, attack from Brian Brundoon.
Yeah, he's going to force the issue here. So by blocking the Warden of the first tree, that means that BBD is compelled now to put that first counter on it, make it a 3-3. And that means that Alex gets to, we call that time walking him. He basically gets to make him use up his turn in a way that's beneficial for Alex. Though I will say that facing a 3-3 Warden from here on out isn't great news for Alex, but I think he figured that was going to happen anyway. And there's a Death Miss Raptor. And again, this card does serious work. It attacks through everything. It blocks well. It's got Death Touch, so even if, like the Death Dealer were to pump bigger than it doesn't matter. It's a real problem. Oh, it was a real problem. How about a self-inflicted wound?
Go to 15,
Take
attack you for 5,
Jeez.
drop you to 10.
You don't
by
have
the
another
way,
threat.
I'm gonna put a Fleece Mane Lion on the table.
You can see why this Obzon aggro deck is appealing. When it has curves like this, my goodness. Alex is now in single-digit life totals here.
Yeah, drops to 9 from his fetch land.
BBD has used up every mana.
I suspect
he has
that Alex might go to 12 here.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
Siege Dad's going to help stabilize things a bit here. I would not be surprised. That is the ideal turn 4 play here for Alex. It would do a nice job, too, on this board. Boom.
There you go. Evens the life totals up at 12 apiece because Brian's been doing a little bit of damage to himself with his Llanowar Wastes.
That's true. All right, let's go back to our main match. I guess they're just getting underway there. We'll keep an update for that. Oh, jeez. Looks like we're well underway here in our main match. Steve Rubin already has a Thunderbreak Regent.
But that's a Thunderbreak Regent in play on turn 3 here.
Yeah. Wow.
Along with a Rattleclaw Mystic and 2 Elvish Mystics.
Willie's going to get rid of that Thoughtseize that was on top of his library for something better. In this case, Hero's Downfall shows up, and I'm sure he'll be happy to see that. You don't want to take the hit from the Regent, but it's better than getting thumped by it in the air for a few turns and then just losing.
There's a Crater's Claws.
Well, that thing's active, too. You could get in a bunch of damage to Willie with it if he wants. He can take out the Courser.
Yeah, it looks like that's what he's going to do.
I think he's...
No, he's going to play...
Rabblemaster.
Oh, but
he still has enough.
He can still Crater's Claws.
Yes.
And get in for 5.
Wow, that would be a pretty nice sequence here. Really abusing Crater's Claws and the ferocious ability here.
Right, and that is what he's going to do.
Yeah, I like this play. Get rid of that.
X is 2, but because he's ferocious, does +2 damage, so kills the courser.
And that means
Gets a goblin. Get in for 5.
Wow, this is a big hit. And remember,
by the way, it's turn 4.
It's turn 4, and also Steve Rubin, by the way, you know, if Willie doesn't come up with something to block on the ground, can just start attacking with the elves and the mystic as well. Yeah, so like this isn't going to do it.
Another carry added.
Yeah, so Willie basically gets to block and then use his hero's downfall here. But it's getting out of control quickly.
Hey, and what do you hero's downfall?
Yeah,
because you know you still have that.
That's a great question.
Every turn you don't use your removal spell on the Thunderbreak region, it just gets worse for you.
It's true, but in that same token, same thing with.
Cleverly, Willie Adel has no targets.
Yeah, well, sure he would exchange those for better targets at this point. But in the meantime, Willie does have a tough decision here. Do you kill the Rabble Master before it makes another token and starts getting huge, or do you just take out the Thunderbreak now? And I'm pretty sure that those mana creatures are going to come crashing in as well, as he can get in for another couple of damage with those. If Willie decides that he wants to kill the Regent, he can let the attack happen first, go to blocks, and then kill the Regent. That would prevent another damage from one of the goblins. And it looks like that's what he's doing here.
Steve Rubin lines up his roar phase.
Yeah, he does have a Den Protector in hand, and I'm sure he'd like to be able to cast it and flip it and see how that affects the damage race here.
Yep. And he's leaving his mana back to be able to do that. Get back Crater's Claws next turn.
Yeah, he is getting this turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's going to try to set up the win that way. He is getting with his Rattleclaw Mystic, though, so one of his mana creatures is still attacking. Willie blocks like such and then takes the Thunderbreak Regent, so another 3 damage. So he's taking 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Wow.
Ugh. He does get to keep both Caryatids in this scenario, though. And there is a Den Protector. For Rubin, who, like you said a second ago, is really just trying to set up here for the big Crater Claws finish, or even just getting back the Thunderbreak Regent could be enough to close out the game here. As Adel finds himself once again on the draw and not having enough firepower to keep up with Steve Rubin's quick starts. Oh.
Well.
And he can cast that next turn if he's alive. Willie passes the turn now. Is he going to be alive? So let's see what Rubin gets back. If he gets back Crater's Claws.
Yes, he does.
He does not have Ferocious currently. He could get it off of the Rabble Master if it were to survive combat, which it's unlikely to do. So without it, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus maybe a land drop here, putting Willie down to 3. And Willie currently doesn't have a block for the Den Protector. So the real question is, what does Willie have left in his hand here? And that's going to give us an idea of what's going to happen. Rubin can also get the Courser of Crufix out of the way. Xenagos. Can he just plus it here? How much mana does that make? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7?
Yeah.
Yeah, he could go for the win here. I think Willie says, hold on a second. Okay, you may have Xenagos. 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He can use the Mana Confluence for 1 more. That puts Willie to 1. He can also just wait a turn. Murderous Cut.
Nope, that's the game. He has
All
to
right.
tap his mana creatures to actually do that.
Willie looks really disappointed about that loss. You see him thinking about the last few turns, what would have happened, what could I have done differently.
I mean, when your opponent casts a turn 3 Thunderbreak Regent, is able to cast Goblin, Rabble Master, and Crater's Claws, your Courser of Crufix, on the 4th turn, there's not a lot you're going to be able to do.
I think that's what Willie's thinking.
Yeah, just like
He does not look
Yeah.
pleased with the result, and who would be?
The translation in Brazilian is how lucky. Much shorter to say it that way. Here's our turbo match: Patrick Dickman versus Chase Kovac.
Patrick, of course, flew over from Germany for GP Charlotte, hung out on the East Coast here,
Right.
actually with Brad
Right. Found the
in
found
Roanoke.
this Dragon Lord Jeskai deck on Magic Online, and advocated pretty strongly for it, and basically convinced everyone south of the Mason-Dixon line to play it.
Pretty much. Then came up here to Providence to battle, and Patrick's having a nice little tournament himself.
There's a Mantis Rider.
Card that saw a lot of play early on, but has kind of faded. It's a
Yeah.
sweet card.
It was interesting. One of Brad's reasons for playing the deck is that Mantis Rider was a bucket list card for him. He hadn't played with it.
Oh yeah,
He's like, I just haven't played with that card at all. I was really looking forward to it.
yeah,
Once
it's clearly powerful enough, for standard. It just needs to have the right home.
Bile Blight taking out.
Yeah, maybe 3 goblins, maybe one, maybe just one. He's going to stoke the flames in response. Did he stoke his own?
Yeah. Looks like
Goblin?
he stoked his own goblin. It's the only-
Another goblin dies. Wow. Another stoke the flames to kill a Courser of Crufix.
It's like just firing off Stoke the Flames like penny matches.
No kidding. All right. Well, here's a Thoughtseize, so we get to actually see something here about what Dickman's got going on.
And
He
another
should've-
Stoke the Flames, a Valor Stance, and an Ojutai's Command.
Yeah. And Chase is going to take away the Ojutai's command here.
Chase is on Sultai, which is not a deck we've seen a lot of this weekend.
No. Owen Turtenwald played it.
Yep.
He didn't make day 2.
Flips over a Den Protector. I didn't see what card he returned. So Lightning Strike. Another Den Protector. Getting hard to see in the turbo match.
Yeah, it is. Stoke the Flames takes down the other Den Protector. And that goblin that Patrick worked so hard to protect has really just been chipping away here.
Here's Mantis Rider.
All right. Mantis Rider's some nice pressure. Yeah, I want to play this deck.
Gets Murderous Cut. Yeah, gonna scry away that Thoughtseize at this point. Use an ultimate price on top of his deck. Dig through time.
And that'll do it. Chase Kovac wins game 1. Yeah, it looked like Patrick just had a hard time getting a threat to stick on the battlefield there. Chase just had removal spells at each turn.
So you've seen this out of the Jeskai deck quite often today. It looks like this is going to be a turn 2 Mastery of the Unseen from Dickman. Well. There we go. It's a little glitch in the matrix.
So, we saw this earlier. Different matchup, but turn 2 Master of the Unseen way too slow against Alexander Hayne.
Sure, but against
This is in
the Sultai control deck,
Mm-hmm.
maybe not
No,
too slow.
I think you're right. Yeah, that's why I brought it up. Is that I think that since the Sultai deck tends to kind of dirtle around and try to set up the wayfinders and the mana and the stuff in the graveyard, I think you might actually have time to capitalize on a mastery. Where an Obzon deck can actually get some decent amount of pressure on you pretty early.
Early dig through time here from Chase Kovac.
Yeah, powered out again by the Satyr Wayfinder.
Really, the card's really just been one of the MVPs of Standard.
Which one, Wayfinder?
Wayfinder.
Totally.
Just see how, all the different strategies it enables, right? I mean, obviously there's some decks that aren't running dig through time. They're running the Satyr Wayfinders so that to fuel their Sidisi Whip, or to fuel their Megamorph package, or in this case to fuel dig through time. Like three different, distinctly different kind of strategies.
In the meantime, Sultai Charm took care of Mastery of the Unseen, but
yeah,
there's still 2 manifests left over.
Yeah, it's actually it actually is. Sultai Charm is actually a reason that maybe you don't want to bring in the Mastery of the Unseen against this specific deck.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, the timing of it worked out for Dickman here as it was a 1-for-1, but he ended up with 2 manifests on the battlefield before it happened. But it's easy to see a scenario where you play the Mastery and before you even get to activate it, it just gets Sultai Charmed. Still, it's a nice threat, right? And it forces them to have that.
So a couple of Raptors. Raptor might be my favorite creature.
If I never saw another one of those again, I'd be just fine.
I understand, but I mean, like, it has morph. It comes back from the graveyard.
It does hit a lot of the BDM spectrum here for sure. Now there's a real creature. Dragon Lord Ojutai was one of the manifests.
Oh, wow.
Hello.
All right.
And we know how this goes. If it actually hits,
all right,
is he going to double Bile Blight here? What is Chase thinking of?
I mean, there's a morph in addition to a manifest, so we know that the Dragon Lord Ojutai is safe unless there's 2 spells, because it is Stratus Dancer. It has to be in this deck.
It's part of the reason why I think I want to start playing this deck is I love these setups.
So there's a hero's downfall.
Valorous Dance to save it. They fight over the morph, which is funny when there's a dragon.
There's a Bile Blight. Bile Blight is countered by the Stratus Dancer's Megamorph ability.
He's just falling further and further behind. I mean, I don't blame Chase for doing this, but he can't
now
be
he has
happy
a
with that.
window to attempt to kill the Dragon Lord Ojutai.
Yeah, 1-for-1, 0-for-1 in a row.
Oh, boy.
And a Soulfire Grandmaster. Another good early game and late game card.
Yeah.
All right, Bile Blight, not enough to kill Ojutai, but he's going to have to settle for finally getting rid of that Stratus Dancer. But in the meantime, that means Ojutai hits.
And we're going to see Roast with Buyback.
Are we really?
Yeah, I believe so.
And lifelink? Yeah. All right, game 3 it is. This matchup is cool. I really have enjoyed this. These decks are significantly different in the way that they approach Standard.
All right. Underway here. What is the turn 2 play from the Sultai deck? Well, of course, it's a Satyr Wayfinder.
Oh, got a Deathmist Raptor in the yard. BDM's happy.
I am pretty happy.
He had 2 Den Protectors, though, so that's half of them.
They also come back sometimes.
They do.
There's Mantis Rider.
Yeah, I do love me a Mantis Rider. That card is great. The problem, of course, is that in current Standard, it's quite fragile. It dies to basically all of the removal that people play in the main.
There's the hero's downfall.
I think he's okay with having a hero's downfall kill it, especially when there's Bile Blights out there. This is a morph.
It is.
So again, Stratus Dancer is what Chase will be assuming that is. He may not have played against a particular list. You said it's a popular online list, so if you play...
I don't even know how popular
Standard.
it was necessarily, but certainly it was a deck that Dickman saw online and stood out for him.
Okay. I've been kind of waiting for this deck to show up, to be honest. It's just a Jeskai deck.
Yeah.
It just plays the good Jeskai cards. Like, there's a lot of very good Jeskai cards. It's not as flexible as a Obzon deck can be. The depth isn't there, but I mean, This is like the heavy hitters of Jeskai. Just go down the list. What are the good Jeskai cards? Well, let's start with Ojutai.
Yeah.
All right. And then just work your way down.
Meanwhile, a dig through time here finds Hero's Downfall. And there's Dragon Lord Ojutai.
Wow. What is going on there? You just block, right?
Yeah, he did block.
It's not like, I mean, your Ojutai's still untapped.
Well, I guess he's trying to fill his yard. He's got another dig through time in his hand.
So he just would rather have it
he,
dead.
He would just rather have it dead and
Yeah.
be a mana.
I think Dickman was okay to oblige him on that.
Yeah.
That's where he goes like coat with venom. Gotcha.
Oh my.
All right, Thoughtseize is going to hit
Wow, it hits the roast. You
Dickman.
see Anger of the Gods in hand.
a couple of lands, but Dragon Lord Ojutai looks like he's got the chance to hit again because the combo has been assembled. The one you talked about a minute ago, BDM. There's the Stratus Dancer. There's the Dragon Lord Ojutai. How many removal spells you got? Better be more than one. And on top of it, Dickman's deck plays cards like Valorous Stance that can also blank some of the removal spells in the format. So I love this. I mean,
there's a
this
dig
is
through time.
why
He's
why
like,
do more, right?
Do you want to Stratus answer my dig through time? He's like, no, I don't.
Huh, that's an interesting choice. I mean, I think Dickman knows if he protects his Dragon Lord Ojutai that he will win the game. Not only is he getting the card advantage, but it's easy to forget that the big Dragon Lord just takes massive chunks of your life total out with each hit, and you don't need that many turns. You know, if he's got a Valorous Stance and a Stratus Dancer, bang bang. All right, Bile Blight.
He's
Sure.
like, sure, Bioblight resolves. I'll flip up my own
Oh.
Stratus Dancer and block.
Wow. But that does leave the shields down, so Elspeth can hit the table and bring some soldier friends along as well. Wow, that was pretty cool play from Chase.
It's like, sure, Bioblight resolves. What else do you have? Oh.
Oh, the thing I can't counter. All right, well, that was supposed to be a Den Protector. Maybe this one is.
Right, probably thought it was Den Protector. Maybe,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know if he didn't have enough mana to... Oh, he did, actually. Wow, that's match 4.
Yeah, it looks like it just ended a minute ago. So
Patrick
Dickman was,
Dickman.
yeah, he was able to get Chase's life